Welcome back. This is our first show, the first show ever of Things I Love. Last week's video doesn't count. That was our overview video, gave you a little bit of an idea of what this show's all about. And if you haven't checked it out, make sure you do that. But I'm excited. We are here today to get this thing kicked off. Today we're going to start with something that I hope we do more of coming down the line. It's a top 10 list. I love top 10 lists. Sometimes they can become top 11, 12, 20 lists, but we're going to try to keep it to at least 15. But top 10 list. Here it is. The top 10 things that I love that I could hate. I mean, have you ever been there really? You love something, but there's just something about it that could make it go the other direction pretty quickly. And so I want to talk about that today. Top 10 things that I love that I could hate. Number one, and this is really in no particular order, but this one's here for a reason. Number one, people. People. I love people. I really do. I mean, I'm more of an introvert than an extrovert, but I do love people. I'm a pastor and I work with people every week and hundreds of people on the weekend, and I love people, all different kinds of people, cultural differences, shapes, sizes, and just all of it. I love it. But let's be honest. People can get on our ever-loving nerves, right? I mean, they can. I can get on people's nerves too. People come with their challenges. I was told early on in my ministry that, the best thing about ministry is people. And guess what the worst thing is? People. It's also that with life, right? The best and worst thing about life is people. You gotta have people in your life. I choose to love people. Do I love everything about people? No, there's challenges, but I love people. Number two, New York City. I love New York City. I had a chance to visit there several years ago with my wife for the first time, and we've been back several times since then. And we even had an opportunity to take our family there and live there for a year. And I'm just telling you, I got two teenage girls now. One's 20, but at the time they were both teenagers, and living in a 750 square foot apartment in New York City, it can be rough. It can be rough, but we chose to find the things about it that we loved, and we still love it, and we love to go back. But there are equally as many things about it that I could hate. And what's funny is they're kind of the same things. I mean, I love the energy and the people and the museums and the shows and all of that, but all of those have aspects of it that I could hate. Long lines and all kinds of weather that you got to get out in, but it's all about perspective. Really, that's what this top 10 list is about, is perspective. How do we see the things that we love rather than the things that we hate? I told you last week there's videos all over YouTube that you can find about things that I hate about stuff, but I want to stop doing that. I want to talk about the things that we love. So number two is New York City. Number three, church. I grew up in church. I was basically, not really, but basically born in church. You know what I mean? I was there from the time I was born, and I'm thankful for my parents for raising me in the church. I didn't grow up in the easiest family. I grew up in a family that got divorced when I was 12 years old, and it was rough at times, but to my parents' credit, they had us in church every week, and I'm thankful for that. And so I love church. I love every aspect of it, but where there's church, there's people, and where there's people, there's challenges. And so very quickly I could turn into not liking it so much, but I choose to see the great things in it, the positive things in it. I love people coming together in unity under one umbrella, and that is the body of Christ, and loving other people through the body of Christ. And so I love the church. I love the church. Number four, leading worship. I started off my ministry many years ago as a worship pastor, and I'm still to some degree that as well. I do lots of other things now, but I'm still a worship pastor, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's my calling. It's something that I truly love. But I'll tell you this: I'm an insecure musician. Now maybe we all are, but I can be honest with you and say that I am for sure. And so it can be difficult at times to even get on the stage and just think, the voices in my head saying that you're not good enough and you're not strong enough and you can't do this and you can't do that. But I'm just here to tell you that's just not true. If that's you that's suffering from that, just push into it and say, get out of the way, I can do this. And surround yourself with positive people, and surround yourself with people that are better at what they do than you do. and you'll do great. You'll do great. And so I have come to love leading worship, as challenging as it can be at times. I love leading people in musical worship of our God. Number five, Nashville. I've lived in lots of different places, but I live in Nashville, Tennessee now. I lived here 20 years ago, and I'm back. And I love Nashville. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. I love Nashville, but I could hate it for one reason. The traffic. It's terrible. It's terrible. It wasn't like this 20 years ago, and now it's pretty awful. People are moving here all the time. But I got podcasts that I listen to in on the way to places, and I find ways to love this place because it truly is a great place to live. Number 6, technology. Technology. It's one of those things that this day and age, it's kind of hard to live without. And I've grown to love it. I couldn't do this YouTube channel without it, and I'm learning a lot. And I know you're sitting there, some of you are sitting there watching, going, "Yeah, the lighting's not quite right. This is not quite right. This is not." I get it. We're gonna learn. When we get down the road a few years and we look back on our first episode, we're gonna go, "Oh, we learned a lot from that." But technology is something that I choose to love, and I could very easily be one of those person as I get older going, I hate it and I'm not going to deal with it, and eventually I'll just be alone in my house and not be talking to any family or anybody because technology's here to stay. So I choose to love it. Number 7, Alaska. And you may be like, okay, what is this about? I don't know anything about Alaska. Well, I lived there for 9 years, and many of you that are watching this know that, and you know me from Alaska, and I love Alaska. I truly do. We lived there for, like I said, 9 years. Loved it. But the things that I love about Alaska, I'll go ahead and throw an extra one in there and make it a top 11 list, is snow. I love snow. You get a lot of it in Alaska, I'm just here to tell you. And I had to shovel it every day and for the 8 months of winter, and I can get to hate it pretty quick. But I choose to love it because it's beautiful. And the mountains covered in the snow is beautiful, and the moose in my yard that burrow down, they call it bedding down in the snow. It's beautiful. I love it. But it's tough, you know. Living there in the winter, you don't have as much light, got a little bit of darkness. And I could choose to hate it, but I don't. I love it. And now that I don't live there anymore, there are things that I wish that I had here, such as a winter. Nashville is not having a winter this year, it seems like, but I'm not complaining. We got 60-degree weather today. It's going to be a great day. Number 8, I love my dog. It sounds like a simple thing, but if you're a dog lover, you understand that they're important parts of our life. And I'll say other animals as well. I'm not a cat person. I'm sorry. I'm a dog person. But my point is that I love my pets. I love that they bring joy to my life. I love that they can help us when we're down. They sense that the emotion changes in our life, and I just am amazed at what God's done with the relationship of people and animals. And so I love my dog. His name is Barnaby. He's a Welsh Corgi. He's awesome, and I love him. Number 9, Disney. I love everything about Disney. And as a pastor, a few years ago, there was a whole kind of trend towards Christians getting rid of every Disney VHS tape that they had and DVD, and it was just all terrible. And that's just not the camp that I'm in. And I gotta let you know that right off the bat. We're gonna be talking about Disney in the future and having some other shows about Walt Disney and Disney World and Disneyland and Mickey, and I just love the positivity. I love the joy that it brings me. I had somebody tell me one time that they hated Disney, and the reason is because it wasn't real. Well, that's exactly why I love Disney. It's not real. I can go to Disney World and I can kind of check out for a while and just live in the fantasy land that it is, and I love it. And so I love what Walt Disney himself stood for, and the drive and determination that he has had in his life, and I can just learn a lot from him. And so I love Walt Disney. I'll add a number 12 and a number 13. I love Harry Potter, and that could easily be something that I could hate as a pastor. We'll get into that in another episode. It's going to be awesome. Star Wars. I love Star Wars, but let's be honest. The last few years, some episodes I could hate Star Wars, but I choose to love it. I grew up with it. I'm a very nostalgic person, and I love it. So wrapping up our top 10 list, 11, 12, 13 list, whatever it is the same as number one. We're just going to kind of like put it here as a bookend at the end. It's people. I love people. I love you. I may not have met you yet, but I love you. I learned from one of my favorite Disney podcasters that we may not have even met yet, but we're friends. And I hope you feel that way, is that you're beginning this community. And I ask that you would subscribe to this community so you get these videos every week, and that you would share these videos with your friends, that they would subscribe and get on our Facebook and our Twitter and our Instagram and become part of this community, so that we can truly say that we are friends with each other and that we love each other. I don't want any more hate in this world. And so this is just one little thing that I can do to help with that. And so I hope you've enjoyed this top 10 list today. It's a little longer than most of our videos are going to be, but I'm excited to share it with you. And I just hope and pray that you have a great week this week. This is Things I Love with me, Mark Eddington. It's just a little bit about me to help you be more you.